Namaskaram to all. I welcome you to the third episode of Music Talks brought to you by Naada Inbam. Very happy to be a part of this. Today I'm taking a very new role for myself as an interviewer. It's the first time I'm doing it. And I'm really happy to be sharing the stage with a lovely artist, Vidushi Amritha Murali. Welcome to the show, Ka.
Thank you. Pleasure is completely mine.
So, in the interview, I want to do it a little differently. The first thing I did when I was asked to do this interview was go to YouTube and search Amritha Murali interview. And அதில் என்னென்ன இன்டர்வியூஸ்லாம் வந்ததோ அதில் இல்லாத விஷயங்களெல்லாம் இன்னைக்கு கவர் பண்ணோம் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் என்னோட ஐடியா. ஏன்னா ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு ரிப்பீட் திங்ஸ் மெயின்லி பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் தட். ஸோ திஸ் மைட் நாட் பி ஒன் ஆஃப் தோஸ் நான் 3 வயசில் பாட்டு கற்றுக்க ஆரம்பித்தேன், எங்கள் அம்மா தான் என்னோட ஃபஸ்ட்டு குரு, நாட் ஒன் ஆஃப் தோஸ் திங்ஸ். பட் I wanted to kind of get a sneak peek into the thinking mind of the personality that Amritha Murali is. So I'll try to, get into that, derive some values and probably keep it a little fun. So that's the idea behind this interview.
Sure.
So what I wanted to start off with is a ice-breaking session.
Okay.
So it'll be a set of rapid-fire questions.
Starting rapid fire.
நம்ம ஆரம்பத்திலே ஒரு மேல்கால கீர்த்தனத்தோட தான் ஆரம்பிக்கிறாங்க.
ஓகே.
ஒரு பேஸை செட் பண்ணிக்கலாம் ஆரம்பத்திலே. ஸோ கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எப்படின்னா நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு 5 செகண்ட்ஸ்குள்ளே அதுக்கு என்ன ஆன்சர் பண்ணணுமோ சொல்லலாம். ஏன் ஏதுங்கிறது சொல்ல தேவையில்லை. இட்ஸ் ஒன்லி வாட்.
ஓகே.
ஸோ அது சொன்னால் போகிறோம், ரீசன்ஸ் கொடுக்க தேவையில்லை. ஸோ ஈஸி. இந்த ரவுண்ட் தான் ஈஸி ரவுண்டு. நோ ஃபாலோ அப் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் ஃபார் தட். நான் கொஞ்சம் ப்ரிப்பேர்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு வந்திருக்கேன். ஸோ ஒன் திங் தட் வாஸ் வெரி ஈஸி ஃபார் மீ இன் திஸ் இன்டர்வியூ இஸ், எனக்கு அமிர்தாக்கு அவர் ரொம்ப நாளாக தெரியும், நிறைய ஒகேஷன்ஸில் இன்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கோம், சேர்ந்து பாடியிருக்கோம், ஒரே ஸ்கூலு. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய காமனாலிட்டிஸ் உண்டு. ஸோ preparation was not difficult. So I'll straight away jump into the rapid fire round. If you were to describe yourself in 5 words, what would they be?
Deep person. Simple needs. A genuine person. An introvert. And somewhat say a little spiritual.
Lovely. If you were to rate top 3 favorite movies or TV shows, what are they?
Top 3?
Top 3.
My all-time favorite Friends, Mr. Bean, and Tom and Jerry.
Wow, nice, lovely.
I still watch Tom and Jerry on and off.
One of those guilty pleasures that you get. Okay, if you were not a musician, what would you be today?
A doctor.
Doctor, wow, okay. What is the best compliment that you've ever gotten from anyone?
Best compliment is that I can never pose a fake laugh, fake smile. Someone has told me that recently, that they've never seen me put up a fake smile.
Lovely.
So
lovely.
that's
What is the first thing you notice about someone when you meet them?
It's the eyes of a person.
Eye contact?
Eye contact. And it's something which tells me whether I can instinctively trust the person or not.
Lovely.
That's my way of gauging it. Yes.
Top 3 favorite colors?
Top 3 favorite colors. I like many colors. Yellow, green and black.
Okay, lovely. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you rate yourself when it comes to keeping secrets?
Keeping secrets. I can give myself 5 on 10.
5, okay. Konjam whatever.
Not that much. Depends on what it is.
Okay, got it.
I mean, like, my circle is very small in terms of confiding people.
And the mother. Okay,
so
got it.
it'll not go beyond that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Favorite vacation destination?
Favorite vacation destination. I'm someone who's taken very few as a family, we've taken very few vacations. So I like New Zealand maybe sometime.
New Zealand, yeah. Lovely. In which subject were you the worst at school?
In school, I don't know, in college, law.
Law. Okay. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl, without doubt. I mean, I think on the extremes, Madri, when I was a child, early bird.
Now is
Now
an out.
complete night owl.
Okay. Do you prefer to spend time alone or in the company of others?
It's a mixture of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of your worst habits?
One of my worst habits. I don't know. That's a tough question. Maybe OCD for small things like,
Of course.
this has to be straight, that has to be
Placed
in order,
perfectly.
or something like that. But not all the time, but for some things I'm very
Okay.
finicky.
Got it.
Yeah.
Are you a collector of anything? If yes, what is it?
I'm not like, I used to collect coins, stamps and all as a child, but now that habit is gone. I just collect photos, memories, something
Lovely.
I like keeping.
Lovely.
Like maybe in the multiple folders in multiple places in the house.
Great.
That's it.
What is your go-to snack?
My go-to snack, Maggie.
Maggie. Wow. One quote that resonates with you the most.
One quote. That
Quote or a
resonates.
saying or whatever.
I read one of Julia Thwap, but I'm not able to say the exact words.
That's okay.
It's
Gist of it.
something that music is my way of, maybe during COVID especially, that was something. Music is my way of, not shutting myself out from the world, or just being with the connected with the world. When it's my way of just being connected with the world or something
Beautiful,
like that.
beautiful.
I mean, I might not be saying the exact words though, so
No,
I
I
don't
get
remember.
it. Gist
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's all I had. I
Yeah.
think these rapid fire questions kind of give a very quick way of kind of knowing
what
a
kind
very very broad way of what a person you could be. So I wanted to start off with that and then get into the the detailed subject of why we are. Where I wanted to start off today was, Saka, you've learned from so many teachers, gurus. When it comes to violin, Rukmini Mami, Vittal Ramurthy sir, Kedarnathan Mama, Meera Mami, PSN Mama, a lot of people, Rama Ravi Mami, Sri Ram Kumar Anna, etc. If you were to take and list out top one or two values that each of them have like imparted on you, or things that you've taken from them, and how you've kind of inculcated the same in yourself and how you try to pass it on to your students, etc. So what would they be, like, from each one of them?
I think the first thing that I would say that I have learned from them is the conviction in music, or conviction what I've learned from them, what they have imparted, and what I sing. So there's something like, irrespective of the situation you're in, irrespective of where you are professionally or whatever it is, I think you need to believe in what you do, in your music, in your art form. So that is something that it took time, but I think I'm slowly learning to do that, and that keeps me, grounded, in the sense that in times of stress, I think that's the most important thing that keeps you grounded. Second thing is, I think all my gurus had a childlike personality in them. One thing which I would say is common, common across all of them, except maybe Kedarnath, who's a little more serious than the others, but they all had this childlike personality, so they would enjoy life to the fullest. Music was their life, but still they would see the small pleasures in life and enjoy them to the fullest. So nothing would stop them from doing that. So I think that is something that
This whole perception that musicians are serious
are very
people.
serious, and maybe we have to put up a front like that sometimes, but definitely life is not like that. We are like any other normal human being, and then like enjoying even a cricket match. Or I remember like when I went to class once to PSN Mama's house, he was cooking that day, which I didn't know. You were singing in this room. Then he said, he came from inside and said, "Sapta pakriya." I thought perisa edo onu kodukku, but podlanga curry. Okay. Okay. And that point, definitely Podlanga was not
one of our
my
favorites.
favorite vegetables. Then he said, ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்குது, சாப்பிட்டு பாரு, நீ சாப்பிட்டு பார்த்தா தான் உனக்கு தெரியும் அப்படின்னு லைக் ஹில் சே. பட் அப்புறம் வந்து இந்த கிளாஸ் முடிஞ்சு போய் ஒரு பக்கோடா வாங்கிட்டு வருதோ, ஒரு தட் இஸ் ஆல் பார்ட், ஸ்மால் திங்ஸ். அந்த என்ன நீ பக்கோடா இல்லாமல் என்ன இன்னைக்கு கிளாஸ் அப்படின்னு லைக் திஸ். அண்ட் ஐ தாட் லைக் எனக்கு ருக்மிணி மாமியில் கிரிக்கெட் மேட்ச்சுக்கு நான் போய் சொல்லிட்டுலாம் கிரிக்கெட் மேட்ச் போயிருக்கேன். பிகாஸ் பயம் சொல்கிறதுக்கு, கிரிக்கெட் மேட்ச் போகிறோம் கிளாஸ் கட் அடிக்கணும்னு சொன்னால் என்ன நினச்சிப்பான்னு. ஸோ அப்போல்லாம் வந்து அப்புறம் அடுத்த நாள் கன்ஃபெஷன் மோட், கில்ட் வந்துருத்தோம், ஐயோ போய் சொல்லிட்டு போயிட்டோமே அப்படின்னு. ஸோ நீயும் கன்ஃபெஸ் டு தெம். அப்போ வந்து என்னையும் கூட ஐஷன் போகக்கூடாதா நீ எப்படி அந்த மாதிரி. இட்ஸ் லைக் தே நெவர், music was always serious. That is, musicல no compromise, but life was, and also definitely with Sriram Anna, and I've learned that it's you have to just live life to its fullest extent.
Absolutely.
And that's so that's two beautiful major things that I've learned. Like,
beautiful. Yeah. Coming to your family, how was the situation in your family in terms of creating that musical environment, enabling that artist in you to kind of grow and be the artist that you can be, and in terms of the support, in terms of various things that happen? Were you the first generation musician in your family, or have there been musicians? So how was your family situation as part of your earlier upbringing days especially?
My grandmother was a radio artist, Rajam Nagarajan, but since the time I started learning seriously, she kind of took a step backwards, in the sense my grandfather passed away and she kind of stopped singing seriously. But I think like any other household, playing recordings of various artists from morning to evening. And but I'm the first generation professional musician in my house.
Okay.
So everybody else was taught music. My brother was taught to play the mridangam, and my cousins learned to play violin, mridangam, they all learned vocal music. But still, I think I was the only one who took it seriously, and now nobody is into music except me. Each one is in different part of the...
But how was the atmosphere when you were like a child and you just started learning and things like that?
Atmosphere, at that point all of us were learning some music, be it some form of music. So my mother definitely was very insistent that I pursue it, in the sense I had a passion for it. Nobody forced me to do it. பட் இந்த மாதிரி எங்காத்தில் கார்த்தால் எழுந்து பாடணும் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் கண்டிஷன் இருந்ததே கிடையாது. ஐ மீன், ஐ திங்க் ஐ கம் ஃப்ரம் அ ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்ட் வேர் நோபடிஸ் டோல்ட் மீ 6 to 7 நீ ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணணும், 8 to 9 நீ ஸ்கூலுக்கு போயிட்டு வந்தோடனே வந்து ஹோம் ஒர்க் முடிச்சோடனே ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணணும், அந்த மாதிரிலாம் யாருமே சொன்னது கிடையாது. எங்காத்து இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் they won't say it. they will in the sense நீ ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணியா அப்படிலாம் வந்து
கேட்டதே கிடையாது.
அந்த மாதிரிலாம் கேட்கவே மாட்டா.
நீங்களே ரொம்ப
I think that sincere student, moreover I think I had the passion. Like, see, இந்த மாதிரி you have to fix hours, 4 o'clock you have to wake up, 4 to 6 you have to sing, and then 6:30 you have to go to school. அந்த மாதிரி இருந்ததே கிடையாது. Because nobody in my family has really seen something like that. So for them it was more like I go to class, I learn, and then அது கற்றுன்றதை கரெக்டாக பாடுறேன்னா அவ்வளோதான். அது அஃப்கோர்ஸ் நானும் பாடின்னு இருப்பேன் வந்து தான் ஸ்ருதிஷே அந்த மாதிரிலாம் வந்து தேர்மே கமெண்ட்ஸ் தெரியுது, சரியாகவே இருங்க சட்டுன்னு வந்து ரொம்ப நன்னா இருக்கலாம் இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் சொல்ல மாட்டா. ஈவன் நவ் ஐ டெல் மை மதர் சம்டைம்ஸ், அம்மா கொஞ்சம் ப்ளசண்ட்டாக வந்து மூஞ்சி வச்சுக்கோமா, ஐ டோன்ட் டு மேக் மீ ஃபீல் அ லிட்டில் குட் ஆன் ஸ்டேஜ். you don't have to come and tell me that I'm singing very well or anything like that, because that's how they have grown. அவளுக்கு ஒன்றும் பெரிய like but my brother and all, I think அவளுக்கு நான் when I went on my first professional tour, that's when he realized that I was there was something serious about it. And அந்த மாதிரி otherwise, like I said, நானே ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணுவேன். And my company was only probably the people I learnt with, my guru, from my peers in my guru's class, or அந்த மாதிரி தான் எனக்கு கம்பெனியே தவிர I've never had people to YACMல இருக்கச்சு. Of course we had a period when we all used to meet up and practice and everything like that, but otherwise not. நானே ரூமில் போய் உட்காந்து ப்ராக்டிஸ், அவ்வளோதான். That's how it has been. So I have to find inspiration from the wall in my room. That's and plus I listen to a lot of music. My mother used to leave me in concerts in Mylapore Fine Arts, and அப்போ தான் மெம்பர்ஸ். நான் ஏதோ ஒரு விவேகானந்தா காலேஜ் ப்ரொஃபஸர் மாமா பக்கத்தில் உட்காந்து வச்சுட்டு போயிடுவா. அண்ட் நான் 8 மணிக்கு ஐ வில் ஸ்லீப் can be the greatest musician on planet Earth, but I will sleep at 8. So she'll come at 7:45, feed me some food, and then that's how I grew up. And that was my inspiration, actually.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That actually brings me to the follow-up question. So, earlier school days, you'd already started learning violin. Then there was vocal, and then you had a stint with dance also, and then studies, and then I don't know if you did any sport in school, etc.
I used to play basketball and TP.
So how did you juggle, between each of these in terms of basically time management? Like, did you find it anything difficult, or did you feel forced, or did you complain about it, or was it just a natural thing?
I don't think I've complained about it. Yes, I've missed out on probably when my friends went out for movies or when they met up and all that. Adala, I've missed out a lot. But thankfully, I've had friends who have been very understanding. Who have, yeah, it was hard. I'm not saying it was easy. Paatum practice panano, violinum practice. Dance, my biggest regret is I had to stop. It was more out of not having time. And that by the time music had taken quite a, I mean, I was quite passionate about it then, and learning had taken a serious side then. So Anal, I had to stop at that point. So and playing after school and all, not like seriously. I was not like, but tournament, yeah, I used to andamari tournament playing la kadayadu. But I used to like playing, and I was like a tomboy as a child, but nobody would believe that now if I said that. I used to I used to play with my cousins, cricket, and like Adala, I used to do that, but not seriously.
Nice. So coming to practice routine, so how has it been over the years? How has it changed? You said no one has really forced you to practice, so you must have formed a routine for yourself at some level. How has it changed in terms of timings, in terms of number of hours, in terms of content, of what is practiced, and how has the journey been?
I think for me, since childhood, I've survived more out of quality practice than quantity practice, because I always had to do multiple things. Like, so adanala vande evlakulla I can save time on. So at the time I would practice, I used to be very focused. So that was the only way I could survive. And I used to be serious about practice time. But like I said, I would practice whenever I got a chance. So I never restricted it to only a few hours in a day, or let's say only morning, only evening. Whenever I got a chance, I would sit down and sing, and that's how I am even till today.
Okay.
So
you don't have a fixed routine of sorts?
My fixed routine is, the only thing is that I have to sing every day, or I have to do something. It might not be even like actually sitting down and spending 3 hours of it, but I have to be in music every day in some way, or whichever way I can. So that is my but even now I practice late into the night.
Nice.
Sometimes 2, 3
creative outbursts.
And like I said, night owl dhan. So all my learning actually I do later into the night. I find that time very peaceful for myself. So no disturbance. So I like learning and practicing then. And in terms of content, always try to not sing the same thing every day. Like try different, spread it out over different sessions. So that make it as creative as I can for myself also. At the same time, kirthanegalam nyavam vechukano, so adu paadi dhaan paatano.
Nice. So coming to your career as a performer, was there a specific incident or an instance or some kind of a click that kind of gave you that confidence to make a decision to become a full-time musician or be a professional musician as a performer mainly? Could have been violin, vocal, whatever, but was there a specific instance or anyone's advice at some point that really made it clear for you to do that whenever you took that decision?
I don't think there was any specific thing that happened. But I always believe that, I want to take up music as a profession is not something we can say. And music has to choose you is my thing. I would believe that we can be hell-bent on taking something as a profession or
Absolutely.
taking something full time, especially the arts. I'm not because however good you are, you need some kind of something, some
calling.
extra, some calling that makes you decide that.
Correct. So did you feel like you had that calling at some point of time?
Yeah, I did feel, but I won't say it was one specific instance or something like that. I think it just happened over a period of time, like maybe high school, college. Because after college, I never took up a job or anything, though I went for campus placements and all that. So that point, I think I decided in my mind that this was what was. Though, I mean, my family took a long time to understand that maybe this could be a profession. But nevertheless, I mean, I'm thankful for their support.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to concert prep, how much do you plan? How much do you keep it? How much do you keep as like spontaneous thing on the stage kind of a thing? And plan pannalum, do you practice what you have planned or things like that? In the kirtana paadno adu oru vaati naal vaati paadi in poi present pannom kind of a thing. Like how much of it is like, what's the proportion you would say?
I think when earlier, கொஞ்சம் கீர்த்தனைகள்லாம் பாடின்னு போயிட்டு கொஞ்சம் பிளான்டாக இருக்கணும் அப்படி. When I was much younger, I would think. But now I think it's more, I like the spontaneity, the challenge of it being spontaneous. Enikume Manodharmam has always been what it has been spontaneous. Because my gurus never believed in teaching Manodharmam. So they would never teach. Like, நம்ம பாடணும், கேட்டு பாடணும், அவ்வளோதான். அதில் ரொம்ப ஏதானும் like we make ridiculous mistakes or something like that, they would correct it. But Manodharma was something that we had to sing on our own, definitely. Out of listening and out of grasping from their teachings, maybe. In the sense, கீர்த்தனைகள்லாம் கற்றுக் கொடுக்கறச்சு, பெரியவாளை பாடி கேட்டு அந்த மாதிரி தான். So, and plus I've always, that's how it's been for me. So even now it continues to be the same way. Nice. So அதனால் I don't definitely plan that. Actually, if you restrict me to say, this is what you have to sing, I will definitely not make a fool of myself.
Yeah, the main lover korve aarbathile
enakku I can't that psychs me out for some reason. If somebody tells me, just let me be and I will sing, இப்படி தான் பாடணும், இப்படி தான் இல்லை, இப்படிலாம் ரொம்ப சொன்னா எனக்கு அந்த டென்ஷன்லேயே I will
flunk the rest of the concert. இல்லை, that is unnecessary pressure for me. I would just like not to be in that situation. Fair call. So
and of course லிஸ்ட்லாம் இப்போ நிறையா பிளான் பண்ணிட்டு வரோம், சம்டைம்ஸ் மாற்ற வேண்டியிருக்கு. சம்டைம்ஸ் இது பாடலாம்னு நினச்சின்னு வருவோம், யூ மைட் திங்க் இட் மைட் நாட் ஒர்க், ஸோ அது மாற்றுவோம். லைக் ஒரு பல்லவி இந்த ராகத்தில் பாடலாம்னு நினைக்கிறோம், அன்றைக்கி அந்த மாதிரி ஒர்க். இந்த கீர்த்தனை பாடலாம்னு நினச்சா அந்த ஆடியன்ஸ் மேபி
so many factors.
ஸோ அதெல்லாம் டெஃபினெட்லி ஐ எம் ஓப்பன் டு தட் சேஞ்ச். ஐ எம் நாட் ரிஜிட் தட் வே.
ஓகே, ஸோ ஒரு கொஞ்சம் சென்சிட்டிவ் கான்ட்ரவர்ஷியல் கொஸ்டின். What is your opinion on voice training, especially for performers? There are so many theories around it. இது இப்படி தான் இருக்கணும், இப்படி இருந்தால் தாங்க அது பெட்டர் வாய்ஸு, இது நல்ல வாய்ஸ் இல்லை, அப்படி இப்படின்னு. Then there are people who quote yesteryear musicians and say அவளுக்கு என்ன குரல் இருந்ததா, அவள் பெருசாக வரலையா. So there are different theories around it. What is your take on this whole voice as a concept in Carnatic music?
I think basically what we have to understand is a person should have a voice which is capable of singing what that genre of music requires. Okay. Whatever the genre requires.
அதுக்கு மேலே தேவையில்லை
அப்படின்னு இல்லை, அது பேசிக் ரிக்குவயர்மெண்ட்டுங்க. இப்போ நான் ஒரு கர்நாடிக் மியூசிக்னால் ஒரு கமக்கம் பாட தெரியணும், ஒரு மிருகாவா ஒரு அளவுக்கு எல்லாமே அந்த டோனாலிட்டி இருக்கணும். பட் வாய்ஸ் ட்ரைனிங் இன் த சென்ஸ் we learn even in the beginning அக்காரம் பாடணும், ட்ரெயின் our voice to sing, ரேஞ்ச் ஒரு டீசென்ட் ரேஞ்ச் இருக்கணும், அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப முக்கியம்தான். நம்ம கீர்த்தனைகளே இங்கே மேலேருந்து கீழேருந்து மேலே வரைக்கும் போகிறது. ஸோ அதெல்லாம் பாடுறதுக்கு எக்விப்டாக இருக்கணும் டெஃபினெட்லி. எனக்கு கீழே போகாது மேலே போகாதுன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. ஸோ அண்ட் வாய்ஸ் ஸ்ட்ரென்த் டெஃபினட்டாக இம்பார்ட்டண்ட் தான். I don't know
especially
about
for longer hours of singing.
I don't know about and see, we can't comment about what the yesteryear musicians is, because their situation, their environment, everything was different. The way we live is very different. The kind of pressures that we are in the new social media age and the YouTube age is very different. So voice as such is, I would think that you should have the right kind of voice production. That is important. Very adukku vandu enna paadinalume, if we keep our minds focused on producing the voice the right way, then it will be long standing, because you're not abusing it basically. Abuse பண்ணாம என்ன நம்ம first அதுதான் முதல்ல important. abuse பண்ணாம இருக்கணும், number 1. Number 2, if we can use the right practice methods like over practice, அதுக்கும் and one should understand one's own voice. That's very important, I would think. ஒரு எங்க நம்மளுக்கே ஒரு awareness இல்லாம பாடினோனா then we are in trouble.
That actually brings me to the next question. In the
I think voice is important, yes, but voice தான் எல்லாமேங்கிறது நான் வந்து அந்த, because that becomes something that we think that today is, oh yes, fantastic voice na music இல்லைனா பரவாயில்லையாங்கிற ஒரு question. I think it has to be a balance of both. That is very important. ஷாரீரமும் நல்லா இருக்கணும், பாட்டும் நல்லா இருக்கணும். That's important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
ஏன் அந்த கேள்வி கேட்டேன்னா, what I have observed sometimes is, especially our generation, a lot of us have gotten into this learning from recordings, and YouTube forms a major part of guru for a lot of people, etc. And the perception of what we hear versus the perception of what we produce, sometimes there is a gap. And on the awareness, how does one develop to kind of say, okay, what we heard and what we are singing are not the same, different voices, different tones, probably different sangati itself. So there is a lot of gap there, right? How does a student kind of try to create that awareness within themselves? When you say one needs to understand his or her voice, like, do you have any tips around how they can go about it?
Tips, the first thing is everybody needs to learn from a guru. That is important. Or a mentor or a guru is very important. And that, because you need somebody, how much ever we think we know what we are doing, you need somebody to overlook those finer points. Definitely we will miss it. I mean, we're all human. So secondly, awareness is something that, what I believe is that நம்மளுக்கு இது சூட் ஆகுமா சூட் ஆகாதா. You might hear so many recordings, but either one way is to see, you try singing it and seeing, does it suit your kind of singing. You can hear yourself. That's a very good way of figuring out whether something suits you or not. Hearing your own self, hearing your own recordings, hearing your own practice sessions, that's it's very difficult to hear oneself over and over again. That also I will say, because நம்ம முதல்ல குத்தம் தான் கண்டுபிடிப்போம் when we hear ourselves.
Correct.
But it's a good way of realizing whether we're doing something the right way. Second, and நம்ம physically we have to understand, ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரெயின் ஆகுதா, ஸ்ட்ரெயின் ஆலையா, அந்த மாதிரி சங்கதிகள்லாம் over a period of time. Do we need, see, sometimes you might not be able to sing a certain thing because we have not practiced enough. Our voice has not been trained enough to do that, right?
Correct.
So as a student of music, there are two options. Either you train yourself that far in terms of being equipped to sing those kind of phrasings or those kind of sangatis, or you understand that your voice is not capable of singing that, and there's nothing wrong about it. Each one is unique. And I think the most important thing for us to know is that each one's strength is different. No two people are alike. Right? So anala vandu, what works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. So that is something that we learn with time, with experience, with
give it that time.
We will fail in that also, definitely. There is no getting it right or something like that. So tips is, I would just think that we should be not sing blindly. யாரோ கேட்டோம் அதை பாடி பார்த்து அது வந்து நன்னா இருக்கா நன்னா இல்லையா, கொஞ்சம் introspection is required. Yeah, even if you're a student at that level, I think. Yeah, so
nice. As a performer, actually as a musician, what do you think are your greatest assets? Amritha Murali as a musician, abdina, these are like the ideals.
What do you think are my greatest assets?
Okay, I can probably start off. I would probably start off with something like good Shruti Shuddham, ideals like that. What do you think are like your greatest assets?
I mean, it's hard to say something about myself. It's like, oh, I'm good at this. I mean, it seems a little funny to say that. I would just think that I'm very happy about my taste in music, my sense of aesthetics. I am pleased, very, very pleased with it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I don't know if, like, there's no satisfying everybody in the world, but I personally am very comfortable with my sense of aesthetics and my sensitivity to the art form. And I think those two really, I would think, help.
Your greatest
assets. And also maybe the parampara I come from, the kind of music that I've learnt, I'm very thankful. The values, I am ever grateful for that. So I think all that also really helps you, I mean, develop your tastes or your aesthetics in music.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
So, 2 quick rapid fire questions here.
Rapid fire.
Weirdest concert experience?
Weirdest concert experience. Weird in what sense?
Anything. Could be anything. I once had a snake on stage while I was singing a concert.
அந்த மாதிரி பூச்சிலாம் வந்திருக்கு வாய்க்குள்ளலாம் போயிருக்கு அதெல்லாம்.
It could be anything. Any weird situation.
Weirdest concert experience. Once, I wouldn't want to mention the organization. It was for schools. We were doing performances for schools, and they were scheduled back to back. So, and the organizers probably did not gauge the travel time between the places. So by the time we finished one concert, we went to another concert. It was
late,
way over the school time.
Oh.
So, and the principal didn't care who we were. Just said, okay, you were supposed to be here at 2 o'clock. I don't care who you are. So it's like
teacher mode.
So, I mean, we were like, okay, we have come here to perform. So now what are we supposed to do? And then we still sang. We were singing. Okay, then they said, okay, go sing. Like, you know, and we sang. And there were children sitting in front of us, obviously. And then after a while, there was so much noise behind us. So we were wondering what was going on. But all the parents are right behind us. Okay?
Oh my God.
And each one is talking to their child from inga endva, like all that.
Idhuk nadula kacheri.
Okay, and those children don't know that they're supposed to get up or sit or listen to their parents or listen to the concert or listen to the teacher. And we didn't know. It was really hilarious. And for the fact that, okay, we are getting paid for that concert. It is only, we didn't know whether we are supposed to stop or continue to sing. And it was one of those experiences that, I mean, it was really, we didn't know what to do. Sorry. Of course, there were children in front who were sincerely listening to us. But overall, I never realized that, you know, it was just another thing for a school. You know, there are a lot of things that we don't realize in.
Fair call.
I don't know if it's weird, but it was.
No.
One of those funny experiences that we had.
First concert
happened at this very hall in on 15th December 1997.
Wow, 25 years.
Yes. I have to thank SVK Mama for that, because I would have never performed actually. My parents didn't have any idea of making me perform or anything like that. My guru used to conduct a Tyagaraja Aradhana every year, Kedarnathan Mama, and அதில் நாங்கள் எல்லோரும் பாடுவோம், and one dignitary, one senior musician used to come and preside and all that. So one of those Aradhanas I sang Dhyaname Varame Dhanyasila. So he heard me and he said, you have to sing Kacheri in December. And my mother was like, no, she's never sung concerts and all that. அதெல்லாம் நோ வே, கச்சேரியே பாடினது கிடையாது, நீங்கள் என்ன கச்சேரி, இதுவும் சீசனில் வேறு கச்சேரி. அப்போல்லாம் அது சீசன்னா யூஸ்ட் லைக் இட் இஸ் ஐ மீன் அட் தட் பிக். ஸோ சீசன்லாம் ஐயோ எல்லோரும் வரும், எல்லாம் வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னு. ஈ செட் நோ, நத்திங் டூயிங், ஷீ சிங்கிங். ஸோ மை மதர் அரேஞ்ச் ஃபார் அவசரமாக காமாட்சி அம்மன் கோவில் எங்காத்து பக்கத்தில் ஒரு மணி நேரம் ஃபஸ்ட்டு கோவிலில் பாடணும்னு. அந்த மாதிரி அரங்கேற்றம் கூட இல்லை, ஏதோ ஒரு சுவாமி முன்னாடி பாடணும்னு ஷீ ஃபெல்ட். ஸோ அவசரமாக ஒரு within a month's time, Kamakshi Amman Kovilla
Paaditu then here.
Paaditu. This was my first performance.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. So now moving to your stint as a teacher. When did you start teaching students? Like how did it like what prompted you to start looking at teaching students?
I think only pressure from people saying "Koli kudu," that was more like it. I didn't think at that point.
Because you're now working as a faculty at the Advanced School of Music at the Academy,
yes,
etc.
yeah.
So like when did this whole thing of you being a teacher start? And let's start there.
I don't know, maybe I don't remember the exact year. Maybe 8-9 years back. More so my friend's daughter, my parents' friend's daughter.
Okay.
So அந்த மாதிரி pressure to teach them. அந்த மாதிரி I didn't think I was capable, like சொல்லி கொடுக்கறதா அந்த மாதிரி. It was so I was actually teaching violin also at that and that was when it started. And slowly, I think over a period of time, I don't even know how it
just happened.
It just happened.
Okay.
But it has been a huge learning experience, and we learn so much out of teaching. I mean, you start thinking as to how did you learn so many things, and I'm really, I mean, I would only say I'm learning a lot through it. So
lovely. So do you do one-on-one? Do you
only one-on-one?
Groups?
Actually. No groups.
Only one-on-one.
Only one-on-one.
Great. And when you compare, your learning days with your teaching days, you could compare it, across various dimensions. But on an overall level, what do you think are the things that have changed, and what do you think are things that have remained the same, and anything that you think could be better, something like that?
I think the first thing I would think that has changed is I never recorded my classes till very recently. Maybe now recently some classes of Sriram Kumar Anna's I have recorded, but still I think even till 4-5 years back I've never recorded classes. Everything is in the mind, and I remember those very well. What I learned from once you have recorded
the comfort
them,
of a recording.
you have the comfort of a recording. Ada recorder la irke appdin namukku oru I don't know if that's not what we are thinking when we are learning, for sure, but I don't know if that is the reason, but somehow I think that is changed now. I'm not saying they should not record, but the comfort of the recorder is definitely a huge change definitely. Okay. And also we could never ask our gurus இதை சொல்லி தாங்கோ, அதெல்லாம் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் என்ன சொல்லி தந்தாலோ we will learn. அவ்வளோதான். இன்னி வரைக்கும் அப்படிதான். Actually whatever we are taught, we learn. And before we perform, we were something important, we definitely take their opinion on it, or definitely அதெல்லாம் கேட்காம இன்னைக்கு we don't do anything. I think that is not like, children we are more like friends with our students, I think, because of the generation or whatever. So I think they get more we are more accessible in the sense we talk more to them. So that gives them a comfort zone, I think, to talk to us, ask us questions. Guru bayam adallam kedai bayam adala engalukla
cricket match porthukku poi solla thevilla
andha marila.
That brings me to the next segment. So you had a stint of learning dance. Have you ever considered singing for dance?
I have sung for some special programs. I have played violin on one of Chitra Vishweshanaka's tours to the US. I have sung for Jayanti Subramaniam Akka's ballet in Cleveland, and of course Gauri Ramnayan Akka's Nariya performances, where it involves dance and theatre and everything. I've sung, definitely. But I have basically, I think I've just not had time. I think that is a art by itself. That requires a special focus in itself, and you need to put in that. It's not like, you need to give it that time also. And I've somehow just not had the time. Maybe
time
that's
to do
all.
that.
That's the only.
Nice. So there is, so when you look at a musician, there are different paths that they can take up professionally, from be it a performer, be it a teacher, be it a composer, or someone like it can be they're a researcher. There are various things a musician can take up as their paths and go. But there is this perception that maybe because of all the glamour that comes with it, but performers are like the true success stories of being a musician, and the others are to such an extent that the others are actually looked at as failures sometimes, right? Avarku thoil nadakala adnal dhaan teacher aita. This kind of a perception is there. So what do you think about that, and how do you think as a generation, and especially your generation and lower, how do you think that perception can be changed in terms of making those choices as a musician and being happy with those choices, and there's nothing about being successful or not, or being secondary or something like that? Like it's each one's passion and interest as to what they want to focus on. How do you think this whole perception can be addressed, and what are your thoughts around that, first of all?
I think you kind of summed it up by saying I think we only have, as artists, we have to change it. I mean, I don't think anybody else can explain what actually happens, because we are the ones who actually go through the grind, right? Irrespective of one is performing or not performing. We are all students of music, and what we do with what we learn is something that we know the inner story. So I think it's up to us to celebrate every small thing. I mean, like you say, we tend to celebrate only performers, and we tend to ignore the rest.
Correct.
So it's up to us to make children understand that music is not all about just performing. Like, you have to learn art for the sake of learning the art form also. So that is, unless we speak about it, I don't think it'll change. As artists, and also as rasikas of music. So, and their idea is, if there is a full hall, there is a lot of attraction for a certain kind of music, or there is applause, so then that's definitely a success story. And the rest of them, if however good they are, if they don't attract this kind of these factors or this fame or whatever it is, like you say, they're called a failure story or whatever it is, that is something only we can change. That is, I don't think because unless we talk about it, we talk about those artists, we talk about how much of hard work or value their their capability or their talent or their learning has, I don't think it'll change.
Got it.
So we have to make the rasikas aware of it also.
Of course.
So that's I think up to people who have the power to talk, people who have the, let's say, an avenue to speak about it, I think should speak about it. Yeah,
got it. I think there should also be avenues for youngsters to kind of even look at pursuing these options. I think today teaching has been very focused towards performance. I think some wholesome kind of an approach could also help there, is what I think.
Definitely. That they can do, they can also, not just teach, they can do research on so many things. There are so many subjects which have been left untouched actually. So I mean, there is like any other field, this has a whole scope. It's like a treasure trove. You can dig in and find pearls from it. So.
Absolutely. Which a sub-question of this, within the performance arena, there is this whole main artist, sub-artist, side artist, all these kind of usages that are very loosely used, and it's almost become a very common lingo. And what is your take on that, and how do you think, again, do you think that needs to be addressed?
Definitely something needs to be done about it. I don't think it's a single man show. அப்படின்னா ஒத்தரே எழுந்து பாடலாம், ஒத்தரே உட்காந்து பண்ணலாமே. Why are there so many people on stage? It's because each one has a contribution to offer, and that's something everybody on stage has to understand, that camaraderie and the rapport is very important, irrespective of whether you perform with the same artists or you perform with artists you probably have never even seen before. Because we do have those kind of situations, right? When we travel, we perform with artists, maybe we might have never seen them before or heard them before. I think the most important thing is that to not let down anybody on stage, be sensitive to the music of everyone on stage and their mental frame of for the day. So I don't think anybody's main I don't agree to that. And I think, yeah, we can change the terminology if over a period of time, if everyone understands that.
I think the answer that you gave to the previous question, saying I think artists own that responsibility to kind of
change it. Yeah.
Keep consciously make some efforts to not use them and probably
see,
put down people who use them.
Yeah, we have a lot of avenues. We have many avenues to do that, in fact. Yeah, today we can speak up about so many things. So
absolutely. When you look at your peers and people who are probably considered your generation, or people who you started singing with, etc., how do you look at the camaraderie amongst your peers, and how do you look at the competition? How do you look at how things are, how your relationship was when you started off and what it is today, etc.? Like, how has the scene been amongst peers?
I think it's been nice. Some of us have stuck together for many years now. I think we grew up together, we learned together, we started performing together, we got our promotions at the same time, and then so that's been really nice actually, to see your friends also grow the same way, and then and so that's actually been a very nice feeling. And definitely I think I would put it down to IACM at one point of time, for we all were we had the opportunity to make friends with people who were also not just musicians, who were rasikas at that point of time. And some of it we have managed to keep up, some of the friends that we made at that point of time. Some maybe just because of each one's life has taken a different turn. So but camaraderie has always been there. Yeah, but some we just lose out because we're not in touch or something like that. But yeah, competition also, I think healthy competition is wonderful. But sometimes, like I say, everybody is human. Everybody has their insecure moments. So the first thing you asked me, the conviction is the one which helps you at that point of time. But today we do face it a lot due to social media, I think. We didn't have this kind of pressure earlier. Definitely 10 years back.
Easily compared and etc.
Too much of comparison, unnecessary. And earlier it was maybe just us seeing what the other person was doing. Now you have middlemen coming and telling us, oh, this person, that person did that. Thanks to seeing something half-baked on online, and unnecessarily creating a misunderstanding. We do have those situations, but I think we have to learn to trust people. And if we trust them and we have a good relationship, nothing can come in between. And musically also, I love sharing my music with people. I don't have any qualms about share. I think I have friends who are the same way too. But yeah, I think you just grow. You have to mature. You have to learn to understand that nothing is constant. You might have very good periods where you might be singing thousands of concerts. You might have a lull also, but you have to tide over it, and that's when friends help, and
the conviction helps.
And also that's when people should not take advantage of situations. Yeah, if you have good friends, they won't. Otherwise, it's like it's like the world is like that. It's not just in our field, but yeah.
Of course. I'm not sure if a question paper got leaked. She's giving me input segues into next questions. Oh. So you spoke about online. That was my next question. What do you think of this whole online streaming trend?
I think definitely the biggest advantage is people can hear us all over the world. Earlier, maybe it was secluded to just the area where we were performing, and people around that area would come and hear us. Now anybody in the world gets to hear Carnatic music, which is a wonderful thing. But again, pressure. of too much music being available also, of maybe one artist, of multiple artists. So sometimes people tend to take it a little easy, saying தான் ஆன்லைனே கேட்டுட்டோமே அப்படின்னு ஒரு லைவ் பர்ஃபார்மன்ஸோட thrill or whatever. I think that kind of slowly.
Do you look at it as a threat to audiences coming in because of the comfort of being able to listen from home?
I think it's more about the attitude. I think, people think, oh, so much. I'm not even talking about regular concert listeners. This is more for people who hear Carnatic music, but they don't come that regularly. So even the few times that they will want to come, they'll say, oh, it's available online, and stay at home. So how far that trend is good, I don't know, but definitely a pressure on performers. We can't repeat songs. We have போன வாரம் தான் சார் கரப்பிரியா பண்ணல, இங்கே தான் எல்லா லிஸ்ட்டு வந்துடும். அண்ட் ஸோ தெர் இஸ் நோ எஸ்கேப்பிங் தட். அந்த காலத்தில் இவ்வளோ ப்ரெஷர் இருந்ததா தெரியல. You can't even repeat the song in some place in Delhi. You would have sung in Chennai. Delhi la poi adhe paada mudiyadhu. So it's like
that is true. Yeah. One of my last questions. Today's youngster, someone who's probably in school or something like that, would you recommend a youngster to take up Carnatic music, whatever it is, performance, whatever that is, full time as a profession? If yes, or if no, what are the reasons for that, or what would the factors be that you kind of give disclaimers or warn them about when you make that recommendation?
I think the first thing that one has to keep in mind is that they need a support system. This, like any other art field, I don't think this is like very remunerative in the beginning. So if there is somebody who has to support a family, who has multiple needs financially, it is difficult, definitely. I mean, to be very honest and frank, it is difficult. But if they have the passion and they're a wonderful performer, I think over time they can take it up full time. But provided they have something going for them till then. So that I would think is that I don't think people should sacrifice education, or that's something I would think. Whether you use your education or not is a different thing at a later point of time. But you should keep yourself stable, ready. At least something else to fall back upon, because there is always the disappointment of, like I said, there are lull periods. So sometimes it will be going very well, sometimes, like say for even COVID,
of course, unexpected.
So many who expected it, and so many people, all walks of life were affected, right? So in a situation like that, if you have something small at least to fall back upon, at least to sustain those periods, then yes, you can take it up full time, is what I would think. And also full time meaning it's a constant learning process. It's not like you get a job and then adile do promotions andha mari illa. This is course. Like you have to keep abreast with equipped your, like keep learning, keep performing, keep being fit. People will be judging you all your life. That's something that you have to, because remember public figure, you have to be on stage. Adum performer irkanona, then again that becomes yes, now you can educate you there is an option of studying in music and teaching in universities, and all that is definitely there. And the marila definite full time is a very good option. But as a performer, I think you need a support system, at least initially. Once you've crossed the initial struggles, maybe yes, you can take it up.
Interesting. Yeah. So why I asked you this question is because, as you said, the older generation gurus, not all of them were open to having these kind of discussions around, what are the what are the variables that you're looking at if you're looking at a career in this? What are the issues in it? There are so many issues that we're able to think of, from, caste related, gender related, remuneration, favoritism, ABCD things. There are so many things that are there, and there's no process in place where you're able to have some kind of conviction or predictability into saying, okay, if I start here, 5 years I'm here, kind of a thing. But you mentioned that you kind of, are more friendly with your students and things like that. So do you get a chance to kind of educate them and bring them up to speed about things like this?
I don't think I've found the need yet to speak about these things to them. But all of them some of them are in college and studying, and they're all studying. So there is no need for me to bring up this topic with them unless they broach the subject with me. But like I said, I don't put pressure on them to not study ever. So that's irrespective of whether they need to sing or not, they need to study also. I never say don't study. So that's not something I'll say. But I only say manage your time well so you can do both well. So that's
lovely. Okay, so this brings us to the last segment of the interview. Okay. No more serious questions, sorry.
Okay.
One more rapid fire, but easy rapid fire. I'll give 3 things. Please pick only one out of them. Don't say all 3.
Multiple choice question.
Multiple choice, and only one choice allowed.
அது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம்.
Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshithar, Shyama Shastri.
No way, I can't pick one. All 3.
It can be a momentary pick. Okay. Mountains, city, beaches.
Beach.
Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry.
Chocolate தான்.
Todi, Kalyani, Bhairavi.
ஐயோ, தோடி கல்யாணி பைரவி.
Shivaranjani, Revati, Madhuvanti.
Revati.
Okay. Tanam, Kanakku, Keerthanam singing.
Tanam and Keerthanam.
No, only one.
Tanam,
I'll take Tanam there.
No,
whatever comes first.
No. Keerthanam.
Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta.
Delhi பிடிக்காது.
Okay.
Bombay, Calcutta. Actually both, because I haven't been to Calcutta much. Okay. A few times on concert tours. So
So shall I take Calcutta?
No, both Bombay, Calcutta.
Sure. Okay. MSMA, MLVMA, Pattamama.
Chance கிடையாது. I can't pick. All 3.
Okay. Walking, cycling, driving a car.
Ippa walking, maybe earlier cycling.
Okay. Dogs, cats, birds.
Dogs.
Okay. Sari, salwar, jeans, t-shirt.
Depends on the occasion.
Pick one, no.
At home, definitely t-shirt. Sari is definitely one of my favorite attires.
Then I'll take
I
sari.
love wearing saris.
Done. Sweet, salt, spicy.
Sweet, salt.
Salt. Okay. Not spicy?
Spicy, even if you write it on the wall.
You'll not.
My acid will
okay.
flare up. You can't even write it on a piece of paper and give it to me.
Okay. That's all I had. That brings us to the end of this interview.
Thank you, Ashwath.
Thank you so much, Amritha Akka, for being a sport and answering all my... probably most of the questions are a little irritating, but I just wanted to keep it as fun as I could. Thanks for your time, and thanks for being very honest and candid with your responses to all my questions. I had a great time.
Thank you, Ashwath. I had a lovely time too.
Thanks you.
Thanks for making it a different interview.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thanks to Naada Inbam and Jaya Aunty for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you all.
Have a great day. Thank you.